Yeah. And then, you're right. That's good. So that all you see is an illusion of the fire hydrant sitting on top of brick. Drill through, let's say the vents comes out of here. Right. I'm going to come back about 4 inches and make some 2-inch marks, and I'm going to drill straight through every one. And then I'm going to take a chisel and crack it and let it break off. And all you'll see is half of the drill lines.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Every 2 inches. What the customer wants and what we're trying to do here is we're doing a 5-inch cantilevered bench that's tied into the existing block. So it's all going to be one unit, one entity. My idea is I want to chisel the edge just to give it a different kind of surface. Now my theory is what I want to do is I'm going to drill 1-inch holes all the way around this, the edge of this, to get my chiseled surface, and then I'm going to take these shish kebab skewers and stick them in, and I'm going to have it battered just slightly. Everything's going to be perfect because it's going to be off of the surface here. So that's the theory, because I'm working with 3,000 psi. So at 1 inch, this wood, it'll start to swell and then crack along that, and once I chisel it off, I should get a really nice finish, minus the little tiny, like would look like a drill mark, which I want to achieve anyway. So that's the idea. So what we did is we know we want to come out 2.5 inches due to our veneer on the front. So what we did is we made our radius point and aligned the radius up with the point in the middle, so we can achieve this template. So we know that all of our joints are going to be in unison. If not that way, what you usually have is a great big fat joint like this and a thin joint on the outside. So by cutting a 1/4 inch off of this and finding this radius, the template that we made, it's going to be perfect. Each joint will fan out, and it'll be the same. So that's the right way to do it. So here we go. Get started. It's all good. Transferred my marks down to my spring line. You see how it just kind of wraps around. It's really nice. All coming together. Yeah. I got a 1924, very old brick. We found a 1925. We put it in the main pier. I call this a smaller pier, and we're going to stick this in as well. Gives it a nice. Whenever I do a used brick, I go through. If anything I find that's really interesting, like an old brick manufacturer, like the Western Brick Company, 1924. These frogs I always save because it's always nice to put some kind of accent brick into the project. We've got 2 really nice clinkers that had kind of a matching upward effect. It almost looks like something like almost Asian, almost Oriental. But I put these in as an accent piece for the pier, along with the 1925, and we found 2 more identical clinkers that are going to go and match this. So we got pretty lucky with it. But I like the colors. The use of the colors, and you get some painted brick, you stick them to the side and it really looks good. Now, and from a 1-inch break, it's going to break cleanly to the next stick. So it's without that, it would have to drill through it, but I didn't want to drill through because a lot of times what happens when you punch through to the bottom, it blows out. So we want a nice clean bottom as well as a nice clean top. Phenomenal job with the installation of this herringbone. Obviously, this is from the Davidson Brick Company from years ago. these brick were harvested. I think there were 80,000 in the immediate LA area that came out, was cleaned up, and they're beautiful. Reclamated brick, man. That's the way to go. That's nice, man. I can see the fall. Just like that. Like that. And then what we'll do, I want you to thin set these down. See? Level.
I haven't seen that.
We got our chiseled edge effect that we wanted from those sticks we put in. Chiseled that and scored the top edge with a chisel, and this is called the line of pitch off of the face. That gives it a little more thickness in the face of the stone or of the concrete in this case. But it came out exactly as we were hoping to. Gives it a nice transition from a smooth trowel finish to 5 1/4 inches of solid concrete projected right out of the wall, and it turned out really nice. That's why you're here, man.
Work on English.
All right, I work on English.
All right, because
I speak one language.
Yeah, you sure?
Brick.
Brick.
Bit of detail. I mean, here we have an access, so the bell will be pretty substantial. Made a template and set our bolts in exactly as the steel would be, and it really turned out good. Here's our finished product. It's actually still a work in progress. Once you take the skin off of a brick, the skin of the brick is harder. Once you remove that surface, you can sand this. It's really easy, and I had a fun time actually getting to it. So what I did is I sanded away the sides, and if you notice, it almost looks like a spine. It almost looks like the back of an alligator or some prehistoric animal, which I liked, and the customer really liked it too. Then I took that middle part and found the middle to this, so I knew exactly where the top of the Gothic arches would be, and the middle. This is 3 foot, so we went 18 inches from here, and I made a template. And if you really want to do something exact, then draw it out. Here's my center, and each one is the same. I found my spring line, which is where all arches start. That starts the curve on any arch. Found my spring line, and then I deducted at my mortar joint 3/16 and 3/16, which is 3/8, and transferred my marks down to my spring line on every joint. That way you can get the exact same brick on each side. So we have exactly the same dimension of brick. I love that. Really see your reflection inside of it, and it's when it's wet. When we're going to do a wet look on top of it, sealer, and it'll stay this color. So it's baking a cake, and it kind of makes it. It gives it a rough look, but it's soft, you know, and there's no really sharp edges. I sat against it, and it felt pretty comfortable. So we decided to leave it because a mixed medium sometimes works without doing something, you know, like a striking. You know, we've got a lot of grapevine that we use, which is an old joint. I'm going to grapevine the arches a grapevine in between, just to pronounce this this little feature. This is kind of interesting. In all used brick, you get lucky sometime. This is extremely lucky. This brick is extremely old, and it was probably European. It is the international symbol for brick manufacturers. I know because I looked it up on the internet. And this old Simon's is pretty rare too. Probably one of the first Simons. And it almost looks like a. We didn't want to go with like a religious connotation to it. I didn't, but it was almost like a Celtic symbol, you know. And we put it like this. A homeowner he dug it. I got Old Western Brick Company, Los Angeles Brick Company, Simon's Brick Company, and the international symbol for brick manufacturers. A lucky find. This was this is the only one in the lot, and I've never gotten one. I've seen them, but I've never had one that I actually used. So just the little details like that make the job more interesting, more thought out. Just like this grout. It's kind of cool. Get it done. You can use this product here. It's a wet look. I use this stuff all the time, before and after. It just brings out color, man, and it's going to bring out the aggregate in the face, and it's also going to bring out the color, the black in the bench. People will look at it and it will they'll touch it first to see if it's wet. But it'll be really dry. It's really nice. And these guys did a good job. They finished up on the staining. Dark wood. It really came out nice. Everybody's happy. I like the way that one came out up there. It looked like really old stone for some reason.
Concrete? Huh?
Put that set up. And I'm going to fill the radius up because that's the weakest part. We have another layer of brick here. This is going to be higher than actually the plinth that their light sits on. They're finishing up on the lath here. But these guys, man, are really doing a good job. Corner beads, doing the radiuses. I'll have, once the brown coat gets on, there's going to be a finish. I'll have a brick arch that I have to cut to go over top of these. These are the diamond lath first. So everything's papered, watertight. They did a good job, and I don't see a lot of guys do this, but they caulked around these little perforations, caulked all around the electrical, which is pretty much code, and so that everything is watertight. Homeowner did a good job distressing the wood too. He got a big price on the distressing and saved himself $8,000 by coming out here and doing it himself in 3 days. Put all this detail in. Stabbed it, beat it with a chain, took a little Makita, rounded it off. Freaking awesome. Looks like an old wooden ship. And then I gotta build another step down here. I'm gonna build one more step that's gonna be in skew with, in line with the bench. It's coming together. I love it when at the end of the day when I hose everything down and you see everything is really clean. We stuck a backrest, portable back and it actually is very comfortable when you sit down on it. The cushion's going to be about right here, so like when you sit on it, you're just going to be like, it's going to be really comfortable. You know, turned out real good, and it served two purposes actually. Because of the elevation, we had to bring in dirt, displaced here and there, and it is actually acting as a retaining wall. I put half-inch foam used for concrete for displacement. The roots are going to still grow, but not that much. This tree it's going to get bigger, but it's not going to grow. It's going to be probably 20 years before it starts really messing with it. I have half-inch here, half-inch here, the cavity of about almost 1.5 inches. I don't see any problem with the tree growing. It shouldn't crack anything, and even if it does, they like the cracks. Our decorative drain covers. These are old vents from probably the 30s, 40s maybe. Each one is a little different. He got these up in New England, and they are really cool. Let me show you what he does. A lot of work, just cutting it out. Now, this will have a non-sanded grout. It'll all be filled in really nice, so that when the water actually hits it, it won't go in between the drain, but go down the drain. We finished their steps. Our steps were all inlaid with black river rock. Once we acid wash everything and clean it, we're going to take the same material, the wet look sealer, and seal just the black rock, just to bring out the color. I like the way the little wall up, the retaining wall up top looked, so we matched it down here, just no joint. Everything has a joint in it, you know, but they really like it. So you can see how it really separates the yard from this nice planting area. Finished this yesterday. So we're working on this, just kind of work this a little bit. Nothing really fancy, but it is what it is. It's not gonna. It's just something for people to put their feet on. Down. I got a sump pump to put here, and
Excuse me, gentlemen.
and then we've got this excavated so that this little from this section here. I think by law you have to have something. A nice area to walk up for the meter man. So we're going to brick it. Everything else is brick. And then I surprised the homeowner by telling him we're actually going to take up the material inside of the railroad ties and install like a brick running bond. Nothing fancy, just something that will complement when people walk up. This is the entrance. They put this cage up. Hedge will grow up over top. Vines and just overtake it. They're going to put plantings all the way down, and then once the brick gets up, it's people are going to enjoy walking up there, and then they're going to see, halfway about right here. Yeah. We got the company came in and did the finished surface to the outside. We built out it was 1 3/4 inches. We built out, and we have now a 3/4 inch reveal all the way around, as per plan, to the bottom, so that our crest comes up and scallops in and finishes off nice and even on both of these. Real good job, tucked in behind the It appears now, gives it like a dimensional look. If you look at it, this is not quite to this surface. It looks like it's almost steps, especially if you look at it from this area. You can really see the depth in the detail. All planned out. Looked real nice. Got a nice burnish on it. Down here, we obviously had to change right after Thanksgiving, and we poured the black concrete, and we were going to stick with a polished concrete, but afflorescence took hold, which is salt in the water. Nothing you can do. The brick are actually, especially in cold weather, moisture stays in the brick, and in masonry products, it just doesn't go away. You can see right here, here's afflorescence. It's like a powdery, chalky. You can clean it, and it just keeps on returning. So that was too much white, so I ended up grinding the concrete out and polishing it, which gives us picks up on our finished surface here on our deck or on our bench. And I'm laying out the concrete starting to polish. So we're going to go with the same surface as what we did on our seated bench, and we're going to have a 3.5 inch finished edge here, all hand chiseled on the bar. Hopefully get lucky again. I'm making my template now for our plywood to come out, and it's just going to take a little time, but laying out my center, and that's about it. We got a little landing to do here. My next move is we're going to grind this walkway out and do a 3-color stain, concrete stain, kind of make it look like an old rusty kind of floor. We're going to do a brick arch. This is a veneer at a spring line. That's the line that starts from a plumb area on an arch to the radius, and this line should project all the way through. Obviously, it's going to be. I've got one more brick, but I don't know where they put it. It don't matter. We'll show there. There's going to be a half brick going around, and this is going to project through. So once it's on, and the brick are cut and skewed, it'll appear that this is a solid brick arch. Well, it's been a couple of weeks, and we're starting with the bathrooms. Structural steel every 16 inches, every 2 foot, horizontal, number 4. And basically it's just going to get a 1/2 inch brick veneer. Once it's all done, the bond is going to repeat inside the bathrooms. We've got a drain here to accept that, and the drain on the other side. That's everything planned out really nice. And there's going to be a block cap on top. Water line came in from the pool equipment, no big deal. We went with a 5-inch slab and 13 inches for the footings. Come up, steel tied up through the block. Over here, customer wanted he's been burning wood in the fireplace. So we're gonna get rid of that, and he wanted me to build a fireplace off the corner of the jacuzzi. So give him a log box, put his wood in. Basically, it's going to be a simple design. It's just going to be fire brick to this elevation, and then we're going to do a soldier course all the way around, and that's going to be finished. We have a wrought iron guy that's doing the railing. That's going to do a 18-inch opening with bars, so that it projects the light that goes all the way through, and it should stoke really good. And then we're going to I'm going to design a custom L-shaped smoke chamber and damper, and on top of that it's going to be masonry, and I'll figure that out when I get there. And then I'm installing this
this concierge desk so that we could put our cold lemonade on. But yeah, we're gonna build this up around, and it's gonna project out. Block's gonna carry on through this. Pour it solid. It'll be keyed in. Everything turned out. Urinal on the other side. We finished off different. We used this technique here around the other side just to give it like a more masculine type of urinal feel. But all in all, worked out real nice. Got the fire features done. Caps on the fire features. My man Kenny Abney threw down. Brick, because it's so porous and because it slopes out, unless you're laying on a wall, but if you're doing something where there's a cap, thin set is required, which will bond the brick mortar to the brick to the substrate. The only way to do it, it takes a little more time, but this brick will come off before the thin set will. But it'll bond really, really good.
Bye.